public transport favors the haves more than the have-nots. This in the light of government's failure to subsidize taxis, which are a common mode of transport for the poor. This was conceded by the Treasury, which subsidizes the Gautrain, city buses and airline operators, among other service providers. The Treasury also conceded that people use their private vehicles instead of public transport.
The public transport system, as we said, will always be subsidized. However, there are indications that if you have got your better land uses, you can actually begin to reduce the amount of which we subsidize. So there are best practices that we can learn from. So in some of the countries like Taiwan and Hong Kong and some of those cities, and you can see those are the most highly dense cities, and they're almost fully recovering from the fares. And whereas others, you can see there is some range within which we can recover. So, however, one thing that I want to point also is, even though we are spending so much on public transport from the fiscus, what is worrying is that the use of private vehicles is growing much faster than the ridership in public transport. So we are basically now a car-centric country, and we are not able to actually reduce that, it seems.
It was for the first time that the South African National Taxi Council took part in this conference. It has welcomed government's self-critique and evaluation of its taxi recapitalization and lack of subsidy in the industry, as mentioned by National Treasury. According to statistics released by the Treasury, only taxi industry is the only one not receiving subsidies. The slow and incomplete government taxi recapitalization program has been cited as one of the factors that have disadvantaged the taxi industry from receiving the subsidy.
As a taxi industry, we feel very much happy that at least people begin to recognize what the taxi industry has been saying, that your Gautrain, your Gau buses are just there for the rich to benefit from the state coffers. You look at your BRTs, you continue to see people enriching themselves from the state coffers. And this transport, which is really a transport of the needy in South Africa, is not being looked at.
Treasury Deputy Director General says 3 modes of public transport, the Metro Rail, Gautrain and semi-private provincial buses, received 2-digit percentage benefits from the 167 billion rand spent in the last 10 years. Other beneficiaries who received less than 10% each included various Metro Council bus rapid transport operations and municipal bus services countrywide. The Treasury says government's working with all stakeholders to find everlasting solutions to the problems involving the historically marginalized industry. This highlighted what an important player the transport sector is to the economy of the country.
The transport sector is an essential component of the economy with strong effects on development and the welfare of the population. When transport systems are efficient, they provide socio-economic opportunities and benefits that result in positive multiplier effects, such as a better accessibility to the markets, employment and additional investments. When transport systems are deficient in terms of capacity or reliability, they can have an economic cost, such as reduced or missed opportunities.
The 4-day conference will see issues such as infrastructure investment and challenges in the freight, transport and maritime transport sector ironed out. Offense Estimo, SABC News, Pretoria.